at the pharmacy earlier today?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
2 years. Almost 2.5 years. Yeah.
Nice. Is that how you met Connor?
No, I've actually known him for a long time, like 7 years now. We went to school together.
Oh.
I went to Lipscomb for a semester, and he was there for theater, and we did classes together. I shadowed him to go to the school. But yeah, and we've just been friends ever since.
And then y'all both worked at the pharmacy together?
Yeah, I got him the job there, and my friend Paul got me the job there. And then, yeah, and he actually just left pharmacy, so now he's working at a different place in Wedgwood. But yeah,
nice.
But I'm still there until I'm this is the last serving job, or last service industry job is kind of the goal.
Yeah.
From there, we'll see what the business has for me.
For sure. What is your favorite burger there?
Ooh, the White Oak Barbecue Burger with turkey instead of beef. Wow. Big turkey guy. Yeah.
So it's just like a turkey burger? Nice. The White Oak
Barbecue, yeah.
Sick.
It's crazy. Yeah, dude.
I can't remember what the last burger I had when I was there.
Yeah.
I got this, I remember the drink I got, it was this cherry soda thing.
The Ricky? It was probably the Ricky.
I think so.
Yeah, cherry lemon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good one. I haven't had a fountain drink like that in forever.
Yeah.
So this is official.
That's the way to do it too, because it's handmade, handcrafted.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not kidding around.
Well, awesome.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's get started here.
Okay.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Nashville Artist. I'm Jordan, and today Nick Fair is here. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Thank you as well.
Where are you from?
I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah. Well, I'm from Fairview, Tennessee. About 35 minutes out of town.
Fairview?
Yes, sir. When we had phone books, we were the only fairs in Fairview.
Did you, do you have any siblings?
I have half brothers. Yeah, but I grew up an only child, at the house, with mom and dad.
So all eyes on you.
Oh yeah, center of attention.
What were you into as a little kid?
Theater. I started with always music. My brother is a songwriter, and my dad is a songwriter. So I grew up with that, and then my mom did theater, so I kind of got a little of both. But I started in theater when I was 8.
Really?
And, yeah.
What kind of roles were you playing?
I just the big musicals and stuff. I did my first show ever was Annie, and I was an orphan girl in Annie.
Oh wow!
So that ruled. Yeah, that was sick. And then Oliver and just everything. I did 40 something musicals when I was up until high school.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was homeschooled a little bit, so then I just all the time.
The theater homeschool.
Oh yeah.
Combination.
I'm a crazy motherfucker.
You know how to entertain yourself.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. And no idea how to entertain others. No, I'm kidding. It works out.
So when you weren't doing theater, what would you be doing at home and stuff?
I was always outside. I loved being outside. It's we had this really nice creek. We had a tree. I would build I built a zip line with rope and stuff. I was always building stupid shit. And I don't know, I played sports. I played basketball for a while. I played baseball for a long time. But yeah, it was always music too. I started writing songs when I was 9 or 10. It was I wrote my first song.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was still music, definitely.
What music at the time when you were 9, when you wrote, were you influenced by?
When I was a kid, I never really had a music idol or somebody that was but I listened to Mix 92.9 with my mom.
Mix 92.9?
Mix 92.9 with Delilah, the radio personality Delilah, and she would just play it was James Taylor, Billy Joel,
softer rock.
Yeah, just old stuff. My mom was oh, this song, it was always but Yeah, I did like singer-songwriter things, and it was always just like, yeah, softer, sweet, like little Christian stuff there for a second, little WayFM moment. Had a WayFM second.
I gotta, yeah.
You got a WayFM moment as well?
Well,
or something like
I have something I'll have to mention later.
Okay.
That from listening to your music, I was like, okay, I definitely hear a certain influence
Really?
in here that I don't know if he's directly inspired or influenced by, but I've got to ask him, which I will.
Okay. Hey,
I got to make sure I don't forget.
Yeah.
Because since you said WayFM, I was like, oh, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Dude, sometimes, like, especially now, I, like, my music is so, like, I just really just have to, like, let it be whatever it is, or I feel like I end up, like, making it bad. You know? Like, I just, like, write and, like, don't really think about where it's coming from as much. It's just like, okay, this is just, like, what's happening. Yeah. And so I'm always curious to, like, hear what people think, too, because I don't really give it much thought when it comes to, like, influence, really, especially, like, in the moment. But I love hearing what people say, or, like, you know, the likeness to something else, because I'm always like, oh, maybe, you know, maybe some deep down I was thinking about that. You know?
Or maybe you didn't think of it at all, but somehow it just happens to
manifest.
Like that. Or I think whatever.
Art, baby.
It's all just a melting pot.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
Like, just put in your little spice and watch it grow.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Okay, cool. So, like, what first got you into, like, art and music? Like, when you were younger, what were you like? Wow, I like doing this.
Yeah, I mean, so I was doing theater, and then I started me and some friends at the time, two other friends of mine, started a little band in 5th grade called Dream Big. Oh, baby, we were the shit. But I didn't know how to play guitar or anything, so I learned how to play piano a little bit. My mom is now a wonderful piano teacher and, like, voice teacher, and she's amazing. So I learned a little bit from her, but I took piano for a second. So I learned, like, keyboard, like, you know, key of G, chords, and that was about it. So we played in 5th grade, and I was like, this is really fun. I like getting all this attention, you know, like at the assemblies and stuff. Like, this is cool. And it just felt like performing. I just always was like, I should be performing, you know, whether it's like theater or like whatever, writing songs. But that was like my first, like, I was writing songs for that band. And then I started another band with some other friends called Triptych. There's like 3 of us. We were like, oh, triptych, like a work of art in 3 pieces. Yeah. It's like T-R-Y. Wait. T-R. Yeah. Yeah. T-R-Y-P-T-C-H or something. It's like the word for like 3 pieces of art.
Oh, triptych.
Triptych, yeah.
You said triptych. I was like, what?
Triptych. Yeah, I trip on it, yeah.
But triptych, I got you.
Triptych, yeah. So that was fun, and we just played like covers mainly for that, but we wrote some songs for that too, and we just kind of went from there. But
so that was like in 5th grade?
That was like in middle school. I was like 13 for the second band, 10 for the first. But I learned guitar like start of middle school because my dad played, and I was like, how do I play a G chord? You know, and then just kind of figured it out.
What is your dad influenced by?
He was a gospel singer, like. He's done a ton of things, but he was in a bunch of different bands in like the 70s and stuff, where he was in a band called Street Apple. He was in a band called Pressed Down, Shaken Together, and Running Over, like a Christian, like it was basically like a worship band for like he was a part of this big church group called The Way, which is like technically a cult, kind of turned into like a weird thing. But he would like travel the country just like playing with his band for that like organization. So he was like a gospel guy, and like he and his buddies like did that, and so that was kind of the influence I got from him, like in learning, like, you know, like guitar and starting to write and all of that. He was just like, write what you see, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So like middle school is like when you start playing in bands or groups, so like
Yeah, like more seriously. I mean, not like seriously, but I was just like, yeah, like this is what I'm doing now, and yeah. But then I feel like it kind of took a break to, um, got into high school and was just doing like more professional theater stuff. I did a couple shows that were, I started getting to yeah, just like paid gigs and like dinner theater shows and stuff like that, and then I got like recruited to go to Lipscomb by a lady, like one of the professors was in a show with me, um, and she was like, "You should come do the theater program," and so I did that. But then from there, I like got into the music program, and then I haven't really done theater much since then, and then I just started doing my own project from there, and yeah.
nice. When you were in theater, what like kind of roles would you play?
I mean, all
Like
kinds of stuff. What?
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was just saying like everything, like across different, all kinds of different.
Yeah, it was normally like musical, like coming of age kind of roles. I didn't do a whole lot of like serious like think pieces or anything like plays. I did plays too, but I mainly did like big like band musicals and like um I don't know. I did so many different shows.
Is it like show choir, or I mean, I guess not choir.
I did some choir. Actually did a lot of choir too. Kind of in that process. There was a place called the Renaissance Center in Dixon, Tennessee, which was like 20 minutes from where I grew up in Fairview, and that's where I kind of like got most of my friends and like musical stuff from, I guess, on the day-to-day basis, because they had like a performing arts center, they had like private lessons, and so I took piano there, I took violin when I was really little, like just did a bunch of different music oriented classes and projects and things there, and that was throughout. So I did most of my shows there and did like 3 different choirs while I was there, and yeah, took some acting classes, and yeah, that was like the main thing, like growing up, I guess.
Was there like do you have a favorite theater show you did, or?
I did. There's a show called Into the Woods, and it's yeah, that one is amazing, and I did that twice. But then I think probably my favorite show, I went to Lipscomb and we did Beauty and the Beast, and I was Gaston, and that's still like
Who's
that was one of my favorites. He's like this like He-Man, like strong man, and it was really funny. And I had like a ponytail, and it was like my real hair and like a muscle like shirt. It was goofy, but that was really fun. It was cool because it was like I was like 18 and getting a big role at like a college production. I was like, damn, it was crazy. It was really fun.
Wow.
Met like so many of my friends in that. Connor was in that. Bunch of really good friends that I still have to this day are kind of from that time.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 2016. Not even that long ago, really, but 7 years.
Yeah. 7 years ago. Yeah. Yesterday.
Literally. Yeah. Wild. 23.
2016, just in 3 more years, or in 2026, just in 3 more years.
I know.
Wow.
10-year anniversary.
10 years.
No.
That's like I've been conscious for so long.
I've been here for so long.
Yeah.
So,
So why would you say you're drawn to music and art?
I think that's just the only thing I've always known about myself, is that I really like to perform. I love to sing. That's like my main instrument always, is vocal performance. Just always been such a huge part of my life. And like growing up with my mom always singing and my dad playing, I think it's just like, it was just like circumstance, and then just realizing I really just grew up just like there was no other like yeah, this is just what I love to do, or like this is what I love to, listen to or whatever. It was just a part. It was always there, just always there. Yeah, I think like in the past, since like being out of that short time in college, like I've kind of formed a whole new like identity in why I make music for me, like with my own project now. That's different from that, I guess. That feels more like goal oriented and like has a purpose to it that's like that I created. But all in all, like starting from the beginning, it's just, I don't know. It was just always there. It was just, that's it, That's what I do. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said guitar, that came later, or when did you start practicing? Or
yeah, like middle school. Like I was probably in 6th grade, or like, yeah. Because I felt held back when I was in 5th grade playing keyboard. I was like, I'm not very good at this and I don't like it. And I want to play guitar. And that's going to be hard too. But yeah, I started then and went from there. I never really took lessons. I never learned how to read music. Like still to this day, I'm very limited. Well, I'm very by ear, just with everything. I'm not limited. I love it. It's so creative, but I've always been by ear with everything. It's just kind of like the way that I've done it. But yeah, guitar about 13, and then to now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. What of all time, who are like some of your favorite artists, musicians?
Yeah. John Prine, Joni Mitchell, Bonnie Raitt, James Taylor, and then more currently, like Pine Grove is insanely inspirational to me. I take a lot of writing from. There's a Christian Lee Hudson is one of my favorite songwriters. The Phoebe Bridgers, Boy Genius, all those folks, like that whole style of music has been so influential for me in the past, 5-6 years. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. So now, like, do you have routines for your like developing your art and like music? Do you like practice?
Yeah, yeah.
Daily or whatever.
Yeah, I don't really have like I don't know, an organized like regimen of like practicing or something. It's mainly writing. Like I just I don't know. I have a few principles that I follow nowadays where it's just like if I pick up a guitar, I have to start recording no matter what it is, even if I'm just like not expecting anything. Because 99% of the time, that is like when I get my best ideas. Like right as I pick up the guitar, the first thing I play, I have like my most organic like melody or like thought. And that's like honestly completely formed my writing into what it is and let me find like the freedom of just like letting go of why and just accepting like that it is,
Mm-hmm.
and that gives me so much more creativity and just like honest like writing from just it feels like that's the most sorry everyone the most like organic, I guess, like honest thing.
Yeah.
So it's just that, and then like as much as possible I make sure that I have like a variety of guitars in my like space that can all be there for different things, different tunings, different, just like so I can be like, okay, like it's not that like crazy, I'm just like open E on one and like standard and then like maybe a funky one. And I'm so ADHD my whole life, so it's like got to be there in my sight line. So if I walk into the room and I see a guitar, like, oh yeah, I'll do some playing. But I'm so like one thing to the next that I try to just, that's what we were talking about earlier. I'm trying to set up my space kind of with that in mind, like to have like an order of things in the room so I can see what I need and just be able to, not think too hard and just start playing and just create something.
Right.
Yeah.
So like to develop your like artistic skills, you'll just keep it as spontaneous, but also like every day, I guess.
As much as possible, yeah. I mean, it's not always every day for sure, but I mean, well, it comes in waves too. Definitely comes in waves. I mean, I'll have like a couple months where I'm just like, yeah, every day I've got a new idea, and if I don't finish it, I at least put it in my notes. But I'm also trying to stick to that, old famous, like, I don't remember, so many different famous artists and like influential people in history have said, like, if you get an idea for a song, just finish it, and then you can go back and adjust what you need. But like most of the time, you're not going to be able to get that back. You're not going to get that like magic of the moment when you had the idea ever again, except for then. So I'm trying to like do my best to just be like, this is an idea. I love this part. And even if I hate the rest of it, I finished it, and then I can come back. And that's what I've been focusing on lately. But it's very difficult. It's very difficult to stick to, but that's kind of my rule, my law with myself,
Yeah, finishing the idea, because when it's fresh, and you're like, wow, this is new, everything's exciting, and you're nailing it because you've never played it before. But then trying to recreate that, especially live.
Well, that's the recording thing too. Like a lot of people, the first take is like the one, even if it doesn't seem perfect. Like it's the best. Like
it's got the charm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the charm.
Yeah, and then having to that's what I always found. Every band I've ever been in, song that I played, I always had this pressure within myself, because if I played it, then I know how to play it. Now there's more pressure that I have to play it right because I know how to play it.
Yeah.
And then it's like you can't recreate. It's hard to recreate the original feeling when you played it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is wild. It's that's the thing. Just like giving that first time just as much of a chance as like the seventh time, or more of a chance, honestly.
Yeah. Sweet. So your single Rosie, how did that come about?
Yeah. It's funny. I have Mother and Rosie out right now, and both of those are like, I would consider like some of my newest songs, honestly. It's kind of like a new batch, if you will. I kind of write in like batches, and those are like, that's like the live set for a while, and then I write a new batch, and then that's a live set. So this is kind of like one of my newest batches, if you will. But Rosie, I really, really, really love that song a lot. It's I had a period of my life in like 2019 where I finally, and I say finally because I do think that there was a good reason, and I think it was a positive, formative experience. I basically just like realized my mortality and like came to terms with like, I'm not the man. Everybody's the man. Like it's not about me. My life as a whole is of no more importance than anyone else's, and I shouldn't treat it that way. I should just make the most of like who I am and like be nice to people and invest in other people, and like. But through that time, I was having, for the first time really in my life, understanding and feeling like the effects of having panic attacks and like anxiety attacks, and like very physically for the first time. At that time, I like went on a cruise. This is so goofy, but I went on a cruise. It was the only cruise I've been on, and I don't know if I'll go again. But I went on a cruise, and I every night thought I was gonna die, and I was just freaking out. And it turns out that like I was just like developing, like my brain was realizing that like there's a chance I might not be here someday, and it was giving me so much anxiety, and it stuck with me for about 6 months after I came back. I like had to like retrain my brain. Like I started going to therapy to just like regulate my body. Like I couldn't like eat for about a week when I came home. It was wild. It was really like eye-opening. I was always a person that grew up believing in the importance of mental health, but not understanding like the really large spectrum that it can be, and how much of a physical debilitating feeling can come with it. It just never felt, it was just like, yeah, it's a thought process, okay, but like it just kind of shifted everything for me, and I got really panicked and really stressed. Really couldn't work for a while. I had to slowly kind of get back to like centering myself, and it was like walking outside barefoot every once in a while, and like it was wild. But I eventually got back to a place where I could go to work and like do those things. But then I had a day where I went to work and started to have a pretty bad panic attack, and they were like filming a commercial. So I was like, I really have to go, and they're like, you can't leave. And I was like freaking out, and I left, and I was like, I just have to go. I left. I was walking to my car, saw two different people from different parts of my life. Like it was like a full like life flashing before my eyes kind of feeling, because I was so existential, like, like this is it, like it's crashing down. And then I saw this lady I like had worked with as like a director like years and years ago, and then like somebody I knew from school, and then kind of just like went tunnel vision, got really dizzy, laid down on the concrete, and like accepted my like fate of like, okay, I might like not, this might be the end of my whole entire life. This is crazy. It was wild. And then went to the hospital. They were like, you're chill. You just had a really bad panic attack. And then I think that just changed me kind of forever, because I was just like, man, like the brain, you know, you got to take care of it. You gotta take care of it. You got to nurture it. You gotta prioritize the health of your mental well-being. And I just never really thought it was that important for me to do that before then. So I think that kind of like influenced a lot of the writing with this batch of songs. I wrote Rosie in like 21, I guess. Probably like spring of 2021 with Mother, kind of in the same time. I was out of a relationship. Actually, I guess it was 20. Wow, I wrote it in 2020. Yeah, out of a like pretty long-term relationship then. So kind of some of it was like, I want to channel this, you know, like, and so yeah, Rosie was just, that was a really long-winded explanation of what I was thinking, but it was about that feeling of like being in panic and feeling extremely isolated and alone, and like having somebody there, but knowing that they're not really understanding, and they're not able to like peek into like what you're actually thinking about. It's really hard to explain in the moment. Just all of those feelings. And yeah, it was just a rough time, and I think that song is just about kind of the day-to-day process that I was going through of like finding myself again from all of that like pain and suffering, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming to terms with reality.
Yeah, literally. I mean, and it definitely like absolutely has made me so much like wiser, and like I'm grateful for the knowledge, and now I'm more than ever, I just place so much importance in like learning as much as I possibly can all the time about everything, you know, and like just always evolving and not being afraid of the change and all of these new things, because it's like just a part of life, you know.
It's one constant.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what Rosie came from, and like it was cool because I was able to kind of write it out of that feeling. Like I had been doing a lot better, so I was kind of reflecting, and I was really grateful for that. I hadn't done a lot of writing that way before. Yeah. Like, you know, looking back at like a bad experience, being like, oh, I'd always kind of written and thought my writing style was more like positive outlooks, you know, like it's always going to be okay, because that's kind of who I am. Yeah. But I like writing from a standpoint of like how it is and how it feels, because I think that like is really important and can resonate and can mean a lot to a lot of people, you know,
Yeah.
to feel that.
Yeah. To understand our humanity and
Yeah.
the pain that it can cause, but
Yeah.
the freedom of knowing
Yeah.
you're not alone.
Yeah. Exactly. To relate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To feel heard.
Absolutely.
So, well, I said Rosie because, like, in your on Spotify, they're like Rosie and Mother.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
yeah,
I guess would you say Mother is along the same lines, subject wise?
Yeah, that one's a little more like coming of age, I guess. It's that one's a little more just like, wow, I'm an adult now. This is crazy, you know, like. But yeah, I mean, same kind of vein. It was just like with all of my like introspection that was happening at that time, like when I was able to get to a place where I could look back and I was in therapy like all the time and just like constantly working on like look how far I've come, look how far I can go, you know, look how powerful the brain is, look at all of these things. And so it was just kind of like, yeah, weighing like look how far I've come is kind of more Mother, I guess, and then Rosie's a little more like in the moment. This sucks so bad. This is crazy, but like, you know, there's still hope. It's going to be okay. But this is just real, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was listening to both of them, I felt. I don't know if you've listened to this group, but I felt like I could hear some jars of clay coming from it. Do you know that?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I never really was like.
Or like some Michael W. Smith.
Sure. Yeah. That makes it. My mom used to say that. I feel like
I can like hear that in the style, like very subtly, but
yeah, totally.
I
don't know. Yeah. I mean, I guess. Yeah. I never really like was. Once again, I never had like like that's the band. I was never trying to like, you know, emulate anything, but I mean, definitely it was on the playlist and it was on the radio, you know, so I'm sure something's in there, you know, from somewhere, but definitely
just like, some of the production elements and like, really reminded me of that.
Yeah, the production is wild. Like that's kind of like the newest thing for me, like self-producing or like co-producing. I worked on these with my buddy Jaden Bonnefeld, and he's one of the best dudes that I've met. Honestly, incredible guy, great friend, very like thoughtful and intentional person, and just such a pro. He works with so many people and he's a gearhead and he's just taught me so much. But it's been really interesting, like figuring out production for these because these are my first 2 releases ever. Been making music for a very long time, but never had enough confidence to like put the music out with my own production because I just was like, man, I'm changing so much. I couldn't just let go of that and just let that song be what it was then. You know, I was always like, it's got to be this is immortalized forever. How can I make sure that I'm like mummifying this song correctly so that people can hear it in 20 years and it still represents what I want it to? And that can be true, but I realize that there's that is independent from me changing and growing and like developing a style. And I think he's helped me a lot with that. And I've just gotten to a place where I'm like, okay, like I'm going to change from this person, but like I love these now. I love the way they are. And we just produce them kind of around what they needed, you know? Like it's pretty minimal, I guess. Like we have a lot of guitar, like bigger guitar sounds. And that was kind of most of the like atmospheric movement of it. But really it's not a ton of tracks. It's pretty, you know, simple to what it was. Cause all of these are always written just acoustically too. Yeah. So I have, you know, that as my bass, and then I'll play them live for a while and see how the band kind of like morphs them into whatever. But yeah, it's been wild. I'm that's like the newest thing for me. It's really stressful. It's very scary to like produce or to be like making the calls on this infinite fucking ocean of possibilities in a computer or like all these synth sounds and like all these things. And I'm very much not well versed in like any kind of DAW or like working on like recording myself. So it's been a journey to figure out how to like translate what I want, you know, to somebody that knows the technical side of like how to implement it.
Yeah.
But I've really appreciated Jaden because he's just so like willing to just like try fucking anything, and we've become really, really close from that, I feel like, and just like he understands my process really well, and like we work well together, I think.
Nice.
So that's been sick. Very cool.
Yeah. I hear Briston Maroney's. I hear
Totally.
definitely.
Oh yeah.
Influence.
Definitely. Yeah. He's the guy. He's the guy. He's yeah, we went to Lipscomb together I was there this semester. He dropped out. But yeah, he was super influential to me. I mean, I'm just such a huge fan of his, definitely, always. But yeah, we have played a couple shows together and did like some writers rounds and stuff back in 2017 and stuff. But yeah, he's definitely somebody I look up to a lot, and it's so cool that he's just like such a fucking great guy.
Yeah,
such an incredible artist, so like genuine and the funniest person that I've probably met in my life.
Very laid back.
Yeah,
I love how laid back.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah, modest dude too.
Super modest. Yeah,
he's great.
He's a wonderful dude.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we kind of talked a little bit about this, but what would you say like inspires your creativity?
Yeah, inspires my creativity. In like writing or just like in general?
In general, like the muse, I guess.
Yeah. Honestly, one of the biggest things is live performance. Like watching a band absolutely just crush and being in a crowd of people that like are just moving whatever way their body wants them to. Like, I don't know, just like watching somebody that I look up to just like kill it is like, oh my god, it makes me want to write like a billion songs and just be like, this fucking rules. This is like I probably at least like get choked up at almost every single show I've ever been to. Like, I'm just always like, my mom gave me the wonderful traits of being a very emotionally charged person, I guess, when it comes to like gratitude. Like, my first thing, I'm just like, this is amazing. Oh! And I'm just like fucking weeping. But every time I go to a show and I feel moved like that, it's the most inspiring thing. I just want to go home and like stay, literally, just let whatever that is come out in something. That kind of is what forces me to do that whole like I hit record when I get home, because then it's just like I get crazy shit from it, like. But that, and then like the feeling of performing myself, like being on stage, playing a show, getting like right off stage, right after a set, adrenaline in my veins. I feel like that is like, that's the guy. That is like the feeling. That is like everything. That is like, yeah. That's my favorite feeling in the entire world, definitely. Better than anything. Better than weed. Better than anything. It's crazy, dude. It's unbelievable.
The feeling of like your life's work was portrayed in that one little time slot.
Yeah.
And you got to step off and say, like,
I
did it.
Exactly. Just, Like, I mean, like finishing a set and knowing like, oh, like, what an accomplishment. Look, like, just like reflecting on it. That was the day after a show too. I'm always just like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, songs are weird. Like, that's crazy. I'm just like sitting in my room writing something, and now I'm like, playing this thing for a bunch of people, and they're getting something from it and reflecting and telling me I sound like Michael W. Smith. Like, like it's amazing. It's really amazing. It's just like that is like why I continue to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to use that momentum, to just like
get that childlike excitement.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, that's a huge, absolutely. I feel like my whole life I've been so like late bloomer in terms of like, I don't know, like that whole questioning the world and being like an introspective like person.
Yeah.
I just was super late to the game when it comes to that. I was just always like, yeah, like I'm meant to do this and it's going to happen. And like, money's going to happen. Music's going to happen. Friends, family, partner, all of it's just going to happen for me. And then like realizing that there's so much work into it. And it takes like a discipline and like a drive and a work ethic. And you have to create that for yourself and find outlets and routines, like all these wonderful questions that you've been asking about, like how to get there, like, or what my version of that is, kind of like took me to a place too where I was like, okay, now this is all too serious. This is way too fucking serious. Like I'm like forcing this, I've created like I'm happy to be this guy and I'm happy to have the knowledge and like the wisdom and I feel like an understanding of who I am and like what I need to function. But now like, yeah, I need to get that childlike like part of me back so I can be creative again and like and make shit that's like me just at the core of like who I am. That's been a whole process too. But I mean, you're absolutely right. I think that's what I get from that, like, bullshit, dude, like they fucking ruled and then I went up and I fucking ruled and even if I didn't rule, I did it and like now I'm gonna go write about it. Like that's how it comes back. Like it bridges that gap of knowing what you know and being able to like put it down because you feel so good about it.
Right.
So
it's like
just like
it's like being a child. You have no preconceived judgment.
Yeah.
But you just know pure joy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just new. It's exciting. It's fun. They're smiling. I'm smiling. Hey, it's a great time.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's it. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's a fucking great time.
It's just bliss. Yeah.
We're having a good time and I did that and that's it. Exactly.
We're all moving and grooving.
Yeah, dude. That's it. It's so cool too. I feel like so many like awesome like artists that I look up to or like local, even just like friends and like they're those kind of people too. Like a really like conscious, like great artist also just has that like, it's fucking simple, man. Just like, yeah, like it's sick. I love it. It's so cool and so inspiring.
Yeah. And something so simplistic as just making noise can bring so much inner satisfaction and joy. It's like we just play things and we hear it. Yeah. And just by auditory, we transfer how we feel.
Yeah.
Instead of
and like get something.
Yeah.
It's crazy too.
And empowering.
Yeah. And then there's words.
Yeah, exactly.
People say things too.
People say things. It puts like conceptual elements to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, man.
What are your strengths and weaknesses as an artist?
Ooh.
A little bit more difficult.
Yeah. I mean, right off the bat, I just think about I don't know. I think the performance aspect of the music is probably my biggest strength. I love to entertain. I love to like be on stage and like it just talk and be comfortable. I'm really comfortable on stage. I feel like I'm normally more comfortable on stage than I am in the crowd. Like actually 10 times out of 10. I'm more comfortable on stage. Like if I go to a show, it takes me a while or a beer or like a conscious effort to be like, I'm gonna be this guy. Like it's hard to get into like, I'm gonna go introduce myself to all these people and like hang out and like, I just get awkward. I get like, I'm a first impression really fucking matters kind of guy too. And like, that's stressful because I'm like, gotta make it count, and like, but then I'm on stage and I'm just like, fuck it, you're here to see me. I can say whatever I want. Like, literally, like I start most of my shows and I feel like I just say, fuck you. Let's, like just whatever, man. Like, you're here, I've already got you, I don't have to be anything, you know? And, like, I think that's the strength, is, like, I just know that. It's just there's no denying, like, that.
The purpose is on the stage.
Yeah.
And then when you're in the crowd, there's all that limbo and lingering. Like,
like, oh, I know you from Instagram.
Should I go and say hey to them? Should I watch the show? Should I, chill out in the back? Yeah.
And none of it ever really matters.
It doesn't matter.
But it feels like it's the most important.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I know the whole first impression, make sure it matters. But then what's even worse is in the second, third, fourth, now I have to maintain.
Because what did I do the first time, and can I, like, get, it's just
we're doing the fraud.
Literally, exactly. Like, oh, it was all a joke, yeah. But I mean, like, I feel, But no, so the weakness of, like, I don't know, like, networking, I guess. Like, I fucking hate it. I hate that shit. I hate being like, I want to be your friend, but, like, also, like, you're, like, doing really well, and, like, we should hang out and write so that I can learn what you're, like, I don't like that. I don't like the feeling of, like, using somebody to get, like, something, you know? I mean, I love making friends. I love having friends. I love people and talking and communicating, but I hate when it feels like it's, like, to get something and, like, to climb this ladder of, like, social hierarchy.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah. So that stresses me out a lot, and that's, I guess, a weakness of, like, I'm just not confident that, like, I can present myself as genuine enough that the rest of that will just come naturally because they believe in me or I believe in myself, you know? Like, I'm scared of, like, making an impression that it's like, yeah, he's fun and cool and funny, but, like, he also, like, clearly, like, wants something from me or whatever, you know? I'm always really scared of that. I think that kind of holds me back in the sense of, like, collaboration, honestly, which I want to be much better at, and I've been very kind of with myself. I mean, like, writing is very, like, you know, I don't really write with other people a lot, and all of that I feel like is really, really beneficial in, like, finding like your own style too, just compared to other people's as well, but, like, in a positive way, not like, you know, comparison, like, because that's a killer too.
A whole other game in itself.
Yeah. But I think, like, weakness wise, like, musically would just be like, I don't really read music that well. I can, like, sing and, like, sight sing more than I can sight, like, play. Not great with numbers. I'm not great, like, Nashville numbers. I'm not great with really anything. I recently started playing bass for a band, and it's wild. Never played bass in my life. Like, played twice in my life ever. Like, picked up a bass twice until, like, 6 months ago. And, like, so, but a really good friend of mine, Paul, and he's taken a great chance on me, and we know each other really well. We're good buddies, and it's just a good vibe, so it's easy for us to get along, and I guess he believes in me, and I really appreciate that. But that's been really fun too, kind of learning a different, like, angle, you know, the whole, like, you know, more of a percussive, like, low end feel of carrying a song. I feel like that's starting to influence, like, writing or the way I hear things too. But yeah, I'm definitely I'm trying to spend more time really honing that, like, the technical side of, like, I want to read music well. I want to be proficient in, like, knowing what I'm playing, knowing my, like, variations and inversions and voicings and my chords and why and how. And I really don't. I kind of just listen and I'm like, this feels good, you know? So a lot of the times where I'm rehearsing with a band, like,
it's hard to describe to them.
Exactly. Like, I mean, even making charts, it, like, takes me forever. I'm trying to figure out, like, dissect my own chords, and I'm like, I wrote this song, I should know what I'm doing, and I don't even know the chords, you know? Especially when now I'm, like, doing open tunings, and I'm like, well, I don't know, it's like, it's in G or C or whatever I capoed it to, and it's funny. And I've always felt like that's such a negative thing, but normally I, like, end up, like, I tell people that, they're like, that's kind of sick though, it's, like, just a different angle, but I do want to be able to communicate better through like, you know, this sick, like, language that's been created of, like, being,
so you can build better ideas.
Totally. But still hold on to, like, you know, I write the way I write, but I can be able to transcribe it a little better, or, like, communicate, you know.
Yeah.
With, like, you know, there's so many just hired musicians are fucking incredible. They're so professional and they're so good and they know what they're doing, and a lot of that's based on like they can just not think about it and read it, and they're so good. And I want to,
get to that
get a little more comfortable feeling like I can hold it down.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's people that can read really well but can't hear as well.
Totally.
Vice versa. It's kind of like
I definitely know that there's just like a quality of like I just always have had like the ear for it in a way, that's just like that's been there, so that works.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How would you best describe the type of artist you are?
Artist that I am. I'm such a like. I mean, everyone is, but like a learn by example kind of guy, and especially creative artist. But it's not to a very intentional place, or really like I don't think about it a whole lot before I just like do it. But I hope that I don't know. I mean that genuine. I hope I'm genuine. I hope I'm sincere. I hope I'm like fun and like lighthearted. I like the like the scale of like writing songs that are really fucking important and deep and mean so much to me and hurt. And then like being like, fuck you when I'm performing them the whole time. I think there's like that just shows so much like the condition of like, just because everything, this person's making jokes all the time and is very funny and outgoing and whatever, doesn't mean there's not like this side of like understanding reality and having like a darker, deeper part that they're wrestling with, I guess. And I hope that is like relatable. I hope that I can like relate and be like,
gotta have the range.
Yeah,
like the
range.
spectrum.
Yeah,
can't be like I'm just this cuddly, always kind, always friendly, always.
Yeah,
but then the shadow starts developing.
I've always thought of my like personality as like that kind of thing where it's like I'll kind of just be like, I'll hang how you hang, sure. Like what do you want to do or talk about, or like how do you want to communicate? I'm kind of like, I love hanging out with people. I get so much from other people. I want to like give the energy that they need,
Right.
So as an artist, I want to be able to still be that guy, but represent myself in a way that is still like, but this is what I am, Not give too much, not give too little, I guess. I don't know. It's a balance.
Thanks for letting me play, but also fuck you.
Exactly. Literally, exactly.
Gotta have the little thorn in there as well.
Yeah.
Just like, oh wow, he's a human.
Yeah, exactly. He's a human guy. That's a guy. Yeah.
Because you gotta be able to play both roles kind of well, because you don't want to get trapped in being one way all the time. You want to be able to break out of that.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've been in Nashville for how long now?
I've lived like in town since 2018, I guess, like in my own place. But like, I mean, forever pretty much. Like, my parents are still in Fairview.
And so like Lipscomb basically brought you into the...
Yeah, I lived on campus for a semester, and then I was like, well, I moved out. I don't want to go back now. Prideful little 18-year-old son of a bitch. And so I got a place in town, and then, that's been it. Working and living.
So
paying rent.
Music and art is definitely what brought you here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
What would you say is something you've learned living here? might be a little difficult since you came from Fairfield, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, Fairview is very like,
Fairview.
yeah, it's like, it's funny because it literally when I mean, we moved. So I lived in Bellevue for the first 5 years of my life, and then like moved to Fairview when I was 5, and it was like it was a cow pasture, and we had like a brand new like build on this house that was in the middle of a field. There was just like nothing. I mean, it was like a development, but it was just like very nothing. And now there was no stoplights, there was nothing. Now there's like 2 stoplights, a super Walmart, a Publix across the street. Like, it's a bigger town now, and it's growing so much, and there's like it's big like real estate place now. I feel like a lot of people are like buying houses out there, so it's just getting so big. But I mean, coming to Nashville was obviously just like, geez, this is like the city, and I fucking loved it because I was just like surrounded by people all the time. Like going to school was just like I had places to be, I had things to do, I had like a schedule and a regiment and like classes and all this stuff, and I felt like I was just like, hell yeah, I'm growing up, I'm an adult now, sick. And then I left Lipscomb really quickly, like after like a few months, and I mean, I guess I moved back home for a second until I found like my next place over like I guess Christmas, but it's just I mean, I don't know, living in town by myself has taught me everything. I mean, it's taught me like everything about who I am, outside of my family and my like childhood friends. Being an only child, I always was just like, yeah, whatever you say I am, I probably am. I never really like, I don't know, I didn't know like who I was because I was just like, I'm such an extroverted person that is like fueled by other people, that I was an only child, but that didn't really fit. So I was just like always like with other people anyways. And it kind of distracted me from myself, I think, most of my like adolescent years, or like just growing up. So being here and really being faced with like, what do I want to do? What is my creative process? Why am I here? Why Nashville? Why all these things? And I think it's just grown into like, yeah, I mean, like, I've learned how important relationships are, so important. And Nashville, like, for like that creative, I mean, just like the music scene in general is weird and kind of shitty and great and beautiful, and like there's so many different ways to do it. There's so many different styles and places to be and go to, and there's like just this unbelievable infinite amount of possibility that it's like, I don't know, it kind of showed me like the world, I guess, like just so many different types of people, so many different things. um yeah, I mean, it's like everything taught me literally everything. But I don't know, I mean, I think I've learned like the the importance of like solace and peace through all of it too. Like, as sick as it is to be in the city and being surrounded by people all the time, like that's not. I found that normally doesn't like lend itself very well to like creating for myself. Like I can't like read a book in public. I can't like write a song around a bunch of people. You know what I mean? I can't really like tap into that like part of myself. And I think it's just shown me with such a big city and like groups of people everywhere, like I have learned to like take more time for myself more than ever, definitely. Like really appreciate just being alone and like,
Being able to like create and stuff on your own.
yeah.
Yeah, because the more people you have, now you have to, if they're all involved, now it takes more delineation to get the whatever piece done.
Exactly.
When you're just alone, there's no one there to be like, I don't like this, I don't like that. You're just,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's that like ego thing too of like, well, I want to do it the way that I want to do it, and like especially with writing a song, that's something that I'm not really. I think it's a journey, and I think I'm like on it, but I'm definitely still at a place where I'm like, this means so much to me. Like, I don't want you to fuck with it. I don't want you to touch it. Even if you're the best of the best and you know exactly what you're doing, you don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Like, yeah. definitely like take a lot of possession over like my writing and my like, yeah.
What's your favorite venue to play at here in Nashville?
Honestly, one of my favorites is probably the Bowery Vault. I don't know if you've been over there. I did my release show for Mother when that came out early this year. It was amazing. They're great folks. They have like a bunch of great gear, like backlined, and the sound is excellent. And it's a really small, like intimate room. It's really really fun. That's the kind of like, it's fun because even as a smaller artist, you can like easily pack the place and have it feel so like, I don't know, like big and like just packed, but yet it's still only like, 60, 70 people, and it's hard to focus on anything else besides the music in there. It's just very like listening room oriented, and that's just sick. It's so sick. It's amazing. It just feels so like personal, but still like you can play full band. I did a 5-piece band for that, and it's really tiny little stage, but it's amazing there. I mean, and then like the East Room, I've just played the most there. The End will always be probably like number one. That was the first place I played full band like in Nashville, I guess. But also like I've opened at Third and Lindsley a couple times for a couple bands, and there's like, that's a crazy venue. I love like sound wise and just like atmosphere, and that feels like the real fucking deal, So that's a great spot. I definitely want to play there again. I would love to be able to get a real show there going. But yeah, I also really want to play the Blue Room. I feel like that would be amazing. I mean, that's the spot. Like,
that's the spot, dude.
Yeah.
I always equate that place to like a villain's lair in James Bond.
Dude, it's so sick. Yeah, it's crazy. Just a big box. Yeah. Like, it's nuts. Yeah,
you get through the little yellow portal to get into it.
And the fucking like 40-foot like hallway with the high ass walls, like getting all the way. It's crazy. It's wild. Yeah, it's insane. I love
That's true. Yeah, going in the middle,
it's like this enter.
Yeah, you are now entering the.
Literally.
Yeah,
it's wild. So fun. Yeah, definitely. That's a goal for this coming year. If not end of the year, I don't know, but yeah, that'd be sick. I'm sure I would just love that.
Oh,
The height of the stage is cool. It's so like,
up.
Yeah, it's so up. Crazy, dude. Yeah, man.
What is some advice you'd give to someone who's going to move here and do art?
Yeah, I mean, go to every show, follow the show to go, and like, you know what I mean? Just like go to every single show that you possibly can, because that is like where the magic fucking happens. That's it. That's like it. That I feel like is like the inspiration. That's like, if you're coming to Nashville to be an artist in Nashville, I mean, there's a billion fucking ways to do it, but I think like the like DIY scene of like these independent artists that have this free flowing creativity that aren't bound to like social, societal, label norms, anything, and just fucking make shit and are authentic people is like where it's at. And it's like, yeah, just going to the End, going to the East Room, going to the like places that aren't necessarily like the Listening Room, and like, I don't know, the Grand Ole Opry, and like the Ryman show, like the bigger shows, like that's great too. But I think these little shows are like, that's where it fucking happens. Like that's, I don't know. I think I've learned more. I'm not even like, dude, I've probably never spent more than like $50 on a show ever, because I'm never like, even like the big, I don't know, like I'm thinking about like a huge like arena show. I'm not. Went to Hall & Oates show. That was sick. Like Tears for Fears at Bridgestone, like sick. But I wasn't. I didn't get as much from that as I did from like I don't know, any show at the East Room.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's just so different. I think that's, go to little shows, talk to everybody, follow all these people online, and just like, don't be afraid of comparison, because nothing fucking matters when it comes to that. That's a huge thing I'm trying to force myself into too, you know, like, it's great to see everybody on social media, but don't like use it. Just look at it if you want, but use it as a tool and then get the fuck out of there.
Right,
it's
yeah.
like,
the purpose is not that.
Yeah.
I always have to think about it like, if you get big on Instagram, that you're big inside of a system that someone else built. Like, I'm like, wow.
That was somebody else's business.
Yeah, like it's someone. Yeah, it is, and they're using you to promote their business more.
Literally.
So no matter how big you get on Instagram, Instagram will always make them more money than you will.
Exactly. The only thing is like connections.
Exactly.
Like, that's literally the only fucking thing that matters.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Always have to remember that. Like, even if you get big, like on Facebook, Facebook still owns all your shit or whatever.
Facebook's for couches only.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I saw a meme once. It was like, all these TikTokers are going to be homeless in 10 years.
Yeah, because then fucking what? Exactly. Yeah, because or like, and even like that, like, there's ways to, like, right now you can be an influencer on TikTok and you can make a bunch of money, but like, you know, what is that gonna? 10 years from now, it's like, I don't know. It's just a big stupid business.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how this is sustainable, but we'll watch it.
Totally.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Reflecting on back when you first started as an artist, what are some like the biggest challenges you've had to overcome, and how did you overcome?
Yeah. I mean, dude, the box of like forcing creativity is probably the hardest thing to overcome, of like feeling like there's like a way. And I guess all of that stems from what we were just fucking talking about, the comparison, the social media comparison, the like, even just like an age thing. I'm like, oh, like, now I'm in my 20s and like Justin Bieber was 13, you know, or like, oh, like these fucking like that, like, I don't know, like feeling like there's any excuse that like it's harder for me, or like that I can't do it because of whatever, has always just been like the hardest thing to throw out. You know, to just focus on like what I'm doing, focus on like what you're making, what you're writing, what you're playing, is like, you know, that's what literally matters about all of it, and everything else will come.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably the hardest hurdle, all of that. And just taking other people's like advice as like like law, I guess.
Dogma.
Like
their words dogma.
The script, exactly. Like feeling like it's like, oh, that's like the way, or that's like this person's way, and I want to be like them, so I should do that, and like thinking that that's gonna like manifest through like me as a completely different person with different ideas and different goals and everything, you know. That was probably the biggest struggle, like taking inspiration but not like putting myself in a box based on other people's
opinion of your own stuff.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a huge hurdle, especially here. Especially if you're starting out, everyone's going to give you advice. And then you're going to like,
10-year town, man, you know, it's going to be,
you're not doing country, then this isn't the town.
There's no money. Yeah.
Like, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
Get away from me.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't
want to.
And when you first get here, you're so overwhelmed by everyone, because everyone's so good. Everyone knows your place. Everyone seems so confident.
Yeah.
You're like trying to find your way, and then like people say this stuff to you, and then you question your whole reality.
Exactly.
And like eventually, once you like develop confidence in yourself and you do your craft enough, like Nashville, I feel like finds a place for you.
Yeah.
And then you kind of grow from there.
Yeah.
And then from then, whenever someone tells you some trash or whatever, it doesn't bother you as much because you stuck around.
Totally. I think, yeah, I mean, what you just said, and then, like, you get to a point where if you're just, like, confident and you do your thing and people come to the shows and they like it, then you get to see, you peel back it's like, oh, you're full of shit, or, like, you're full of shit, or you're just, like, a normal fucking person, and the confidence is the confidence. And, like, dude, that's huge. Like, I'll, like, just be, like, amazed by, like, oh, my God, this person lives their life so incredibly, like, intentionally, and, like, has all these things, and it's just, like, based on what? Based on, like, what they, like, post, what they, like, what they produce. But everybody's got a different angle, and everybody's just a person, and, like, yeah, confidence gets you really fucking far, but it doesn't mean that that's, like, that there's not so much under that that's, like, real. And I don't know. You can be confident in just, like, I can be your friend. I can play in your band. I can do whatever just as much as, anybody else can. It is wild. It's very intimidating in town,
Yeah. Like, creating your own thing. Like, I feel like I read somewhere where it was like, the more people you respect and revere, the less of an individual you become, because the more people you're afraid to disappoint.
Yeah.
And so more of their ideas are what you'll end up reflecting instead of your own. I was like, wow, it's very interesting.
That is interesting. Where's the lineup? Yeah.
Where the latter is, I mean, you spend most of your time alone.
Yeah.
Or you can go too far where you're just alone and no one knows who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, yeah,
it is interesting. Yeah.
So I, like, when I was younger, I knew people that were, like, extremely outgoing and communicative, but then they sacrifice what it is that they do because they're friends with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they never have anything better to do. They're always around other people.
Yeah.
It's like, so when they go home, what is it that they do?
Yeah.
And I always learn, maybe being extremely popular is not always good, because then everyone's reaching out to you and you have to turn everyone down.
Yeah. Yeah. Pressure. I mean, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, but then everybody wants everyone's attention because they want to succeed in what they do.
Right.
So it's like, you gotta, like, want the attention, but then not want it so much to feed your self-esteem.
Yeah.
That you end up betraying your sense of self to gather their approval.
Right. Right.
And, like, that's a whole game.
And then you burn out, and then you have nothing to show for yourself, and then nobody cares anymore, and you've ruined everything.
Yeah.
So, like, that sounds great. No.
It's like what Kurt Cobain said, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for what I'm not. It's like, damn, brutal.
Yeah. But for real, dude, like, it's so hard. Like, I feel like the older I get, the more I'm just like, yo, like, that's it. Like, not, like, just being authentically whoever the fuck you are, making whatever the fuck you want, and if that, and then finding a way, if it's, if the goal is, like, I want to pay the bills with it, you got to make some sacrifices. But, and even my girlfriend talks about this a lot. She's an incredible, like, visual artist. She's a photographer and, like, a painter. Just incredible concept creativity, like, I have literally never witnessed in my life. It's unbelievable.
What's her name?
Her name's Karina Radionova. She's got an art account called Nova Colors, and she does, like, concept shoots and like, styles, like, these, like, it's like a set, basically. It's just unbelievable, and I've had the privilege of, like, seeing kind of, like, her process and being a part of a couple of the shoots, and just seeing how it's, like, so unique. Like, I've never been a part of something that's like that, and she, like, tells me all the time how much she doesn't care to, like, make it the business. She just loves it so much when she does it for herself. She was like, the other people coming into the picture are not even ideal for me, but it's like, I need subjects, I need, like, people. And I look up to that so much, because I always just feel like, the goal or my, like, intention with music is, like, yeah, I want to pay the bills and I want to be a fucking star, and I want to, like, whatever. But it's like, I don't know if I really, like, I don't want to be, like, I mean, like you just said, that Kurt Cobain fucking, like, I don't want to be, like, a fucking celebrity like that either. That's horrible. That sounds horrible. It sounds terrible. And paying the bills with it, and then it becoming a job, and then it's hard to feel like, people say that all the time, like, do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. But also, like, if you do what you love and then you monetize it, turns into the job, and then it kind of ruins the beautiful, like, art that is in there, or it can. But it's easier said. It's like, okay, yeah, you say that, but like that still sounds sick. Like your job's still so sick. But really, it's like, yeah, I'm sure it does. Like, really change everything. It kind of like morphs it into like, I just got to get up and write a song now, because that's what the fans want. That's what the label wants. That's what, whatever I've built for myself wants.
Yeah.
It is really wild. Yeah. And like, I feel like nowadays too, it's becoming more like common. I mean, inflation's insane, so like everyone has 60 million jobs anyways, but like the possibilities for becoming a full-time musician or artist is like more difficult, I guess, but there's like so many different ways to do it. But at the same time, like, it's just becoming really common and like normal to like still have a day job or still have like a career in like a trade or like something that's not as creative, and then be able to make the art separate. And I'm starting every day, I think about that more, and I'm like, man, like that kind of like, I feel like I need that. I feel like that like is what makes it more sustainable, like long term.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't. Yeah. It just feels like,
well, it goes,
they want me to do it though.
Well, yeah, it goes against everything we've learned. Yeah. It's like I love John Bonham, I love Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
He's just a drummer.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but before, like that's it. That's life.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do. But like now, it's like, I mean, it's like, yeah, but if I have this other business and I do the art thing for fun, then it's like I'm not worried about the monetary aspect of it. Exactly. I'm able to do it from my own giddiness.
It's not. Yeah. It's not put in a box.
And then if it does succeed, great. Sick. I win both ways.
Sick. Exactly.
Yeah. Because I've always learned, if you don't let them pay you, they can't tell you what to do.
Hell yeah.
And so I was like, well, maybe learn to pay myself.
Yeah. Dude, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And like, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really one to... I when I'm writing a song, or when I'm like going into my room and I see the guitar and I grab it and I just go, I'm releasing stress. I'm trying to get rid of the stress of the day or whatever, and that's like where I get so much creativity. And I feel like if I had, so I think that's why it's like important for me, or I'm realizing how it's important for me to like figure out a business or figure out some other like monetary like thing to support myself, so that I can relieve some of the stress of like the music being that, and then have more fun with the music. Like, I mean, like you're saying, like, just making space for it, creating space for it with like not having to worry about paying the bills with it.
Yeah, it's like maybe you work a little bit harder over here that's not music, but then it affords you the money to have more time to then put more money into music.
Totally.
And to like...
And you find out like that if you really love it and what you love about it too, because if you're not doing it for the money, then it's like you're really fucking doing it for the love of it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's sick. That's like,
because like I always thought this way. I was like the poor person who becomes like a professional basketball player. In a lot of circumstances, they had no other choice. They had to make it. And I'm like, does that mean I'm any less valid because I haven't had to make it, but I've wanted to make it? And like, if someone who wants to make it still makes it, did they want it more or less than the person that had to make it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it, it's, I mean, I think that separation too of like, if you're able to get by and create like a livable situation with something that is more monotonous or like just like career oriented, which you can still like love it, I guess, but like less creative, and it's just more like A and B and like black and white in terms of like, the functions of what you do to do this thing, then it's just like, I feel like it like triples the creativity on the music side or all of that, and takes so much of that pressure. I mean, like you were just saying, of that off.
Yeah,
like need to like make it or whatever, but still that comes from a privileged place of like you said, don't have do, just really fucking want to.
Just really fucking want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I think there's two aspects to a musician: the creator side, and then the, I'm competent to play whatever genre. You can hire me as your gun.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to be on the creator side.
Yeah.
Because, like, not that there's anything wrong with being a freelance musician, but I always thought, like, if they're hiring you, yes, they're hiring you because you're very good and you're competent, but they're using you to build their vision.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to realize, even though if you're an incredible musician, is like, if you're hired,
cog in the machine.
Yeah, you're building their vision.
Totally.
And I was always like, I feel like it's best to be small, create the art you want, than to be famous and recognized for, I don't know,
helping other people get what they want.
And not that there's anything wrong with helping other people.
Totally.
And you can still do that.
And some people, that's like what they want more than anything too.
They want to become the next studio musician or whatever, which is awesome.
Yeah.
They have that dream.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that says a lot about like your version of creativity or my version of creativity too, where it's like we just have the need to like make it and be the original like idea force.
Yeah.
And for some people it's just like, I just want to fucking play music for the rest of my life and I don't care how. And
whatever circumstance. Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, man, I wish I like could have that mind where I just, that's a lot that would fulfill me, but like totally. I don't have that would not fulfill me to the same extent.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like learning that.
Definitely.
Because like when I first got here, I was like, do I have to play on Broadway to make it as a drummer?
Dude, yeah.
I had like all this pressure and like I've got to learn all these songs just to do that, just to say that I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's like you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
You can still be like when I met Steve Jordan, drummer for drummer for Rolling Stones, many people, he was like, you don't have to be famous to be good at your instrument. And I was like, wow, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He's like, like being famous doesn't automatically make you, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah. All right. How can people support you as an artist?
Come to the shows. I'm playing a few shows out of town in October, and then 2 shows in town end of October. A couple more things till the end of the year. How do you mean like a plug kind of thing?
If someone gave you money, or how like, since we're talking about like making it as an artist, like if someone was like, I want to help you, what would be the best way? Buy your merchandise, come to your show.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Like I'm trying to get better about the merch stuff. That's big. Yeah, I mean,
just come to shows, share your music.
Come to share the music with people. I mean, that, like I was talking about my weakness of not being super confident in the networking thing. I think that's the biggest thing. Like just sharing it with everybody and telling everybody how much you love or hate it, and I don't care either way as long as you're talking about it. And like, hit me up on Instagram. Let's write. Let's try to write. Let's play some shows or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Do you have any favorite things you like to watch on YouTube?
Oh man, dude, YouTube is like everything that I know how to do is from a YouTube video. Like, it's insane. Favorite thing to watch on YouTube at the moment is it's probably like entrepreneurship shit, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Dude. It's like, I mean, and you asked me that question of like the biggest change in the past year, and I think that's it. It's just like trying to prioritize myself and like what I like, how I'm gonna get what I want, I guess, more. But so I just like watch a lot of like YouTube, like motivational, like entrepreneurship, philosophy stuff. Been reading a lot more, very like philosophy stuff, or just like stoicism, honestly.
Yeah, Dude, Daily Stoic, this stuff is huge for me.
It's a class.
Philosophy,
Totally.
Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mindset is everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Well, is there anything you would like to add that I might not have asked you about?
I don't think so. You're really very thorough with it. No, it was amazing. It was so cool. I haven't really gotten this deep into like the art before with anybody, so it's amazing. I really appreciate you having me.
Did you have a good time?
Incredible time.
Okay.
No, truly, it's amazing. Down to the Forerunner and everything. It was fantastic.
Cool. Sometimes I'm like I don't know, asking questions. I'm like, I don't know how uncomfortable it's going to be for them. Or
that's awesome. Dude, I love it. No, seriously, I love it. It's so cool. I mean, this is a part of that. Like, what do I think of myself? You know, like what is all, you know.
This is my very analytical self coming out and being like,
totally.
This is how I think. I want to know how they think.
It's awesome, dude. Yeah. That's why it's your show, brother. Heck yeah.
All right.
Honored to be here, for real. Thank you so much. Yes. Incredible to meet you.
Yes. What is, okay, last question.
Okay, last question.
What is something absurd you love or do?
Something absurd that I love or do. So many fucking things. I used to be really into yo-yoing to the point where I went to competitions.
What?
Like yo-yo competitions, and I was in a group in Nashville, and we'd meet up once a month at Rocket Town and just like yo-yo. So really into that. I still have like a briefcase full of like metal like yo-yos.
Did you have a butterfly?
Oh yeah. They're all like, they're crazy. Dude.
What's your favorite trick?
That's an excellent question. Maybe. Okay, the classic, the man on the flying trapeze, where you hold the string this way and then like loop, it like lands here, and then flip it back off.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome. It's a classic. Started everything.
Dude, I remember trying to walk the dog.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I remember kids would come to school with the electronic motorized ones, and they could like get down there for like ever and then bring it back up.
Or they made like the yo-yo ball. It was like plastic, and it just like always came back, so you could like just like throw it.
Wow.
I made some crazy yo-yo stuff.
Yeah, yo-yos. I forgot how like
intuitive
that thing.
I should have brought one. Damn. Oh, fingerboarding. Huge into fingerboarding.
Tech deck.
Oh yeah. That's one of my favorites. It's a great hobby.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm too scared to hurt myself on a real one. You know?
Same here. Yeah. If I hurt my wrist, it might affect me.
Exactly. What am I gonna do? Exactly.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you again for coming over and doing this.
Yes, sir.
Sir.